Quantum Break recently released after a rather lengthy wait, and rather disappointingly the PC version, which of course is on Windows 10 only, is not that great. There have been numerous severe issues with it, some of which are due to the UWP platform, which of course has come under fire recently, thanks to people such as Tim Sweeney. However, Remedy, who of course are the developers of Quantum Break, have thankfully heard the feedback and wrote a rather lengthy post on the game's official forums. They basically apologised for the problems players have been facing, and they went on to detail the key issues that they're currently working on. So, the stuttering, frame rate and frame pacing, they said, quote, there was a major rounding error, introduced into our refresh rate predictions on shipping. A solution to this issue is already being worked on. We expect it to be resolved in a Quantum Break title update launching in the near future. As for performance, quote, Remedy is looking into how to improve the overall performance of the game. Part of that is working closely with AMD and Nvidia to address issues and improve the gameplay experience. Sometimes, after a longer play session, the game can end up in a state where the video memory becomes fragmented and an important asset gets moved to system memory, which slows the rendering performance significantly. This problem is very rare, and Remedy will continue to investigate and improve the video memory behaviour in future updates. If you experience this issue, exiting and restarting the game will resolve this issue for now. As for graphics drivers for AMD, they are recommending the Crimson Edition 16.4.1 and for Nvidia 362.00 from Nvidia. And regarding the frame rate lock, they said, quote, in May, Microsoft will be enabling the ability for developers to disable VSync and adding support for G-Sync and FreeSync monitors. This means that UWP games running in full-screen borderless window mode will have all of the performance advantages of the traditional full-screen exclusive mode. They're also going to be adding an option to quit from the main menu, which is kind of amazing, that was never there, but hey-ho. They're also going to be fixing the issue where it's crashing on launch, and they're also working on features such as turning on and off things like film grain and other such things. Sadly, it doesn't seem like MultiGPU or SLI or Crossfire support, whatever you want to call it, is coming anytime soon. And to quote, it says, quote, Quantum Break on Windows 10 unfortunately doesn't support DX12 multi-GPU rendering due to the engine architecture. The work needed to support multiple GPUs would have significant and out of scope for Remedy and for Quantum Break. Now, there have also been some questions regarding the rendering technique and resolution on Windows 10. And the explanation is rather interesting. As I said, quote, the Windows 10 version of Quantum Break uses the same reconstruction method as on Xbox One. If your resolution is set to 1080p, the game temporarily reconstructs the image except UI from 4 720p buffers rendered with 4x MSAA. Just like on Xbox One, Engine assigns input geometry samples from 4x MSAA rendering into shaded clusters in order to maximize covered geometry while keeping the performance on an acceptable level by reducing expensive shaded samples. When you change the resolution, the buffers used to construct the image are always 2/3 of the set resolution, i.e. in 2560 by 1440 there will be 1706 by 960. They've also addressed the downloading issues that some people have been experiencing. They are working on the light flare/blinking lights issue. And lastly, for those of you who were having problems with cloud saving on either Windows 10 and Xbox One, it has been resolved in the latest March update, and to avoid any problems, you basically have to switch Microsoft accounts before signing into the Xbox app and check Windows Update to ensure you are using the latest version of Windows 10, and as for Xbox One, they are working to address it in a future update. So they're basically saying, to avoid any issues, please quit the game before turning off your console. So there you have it. I have skipped over some things, so if you want to read the full details, I suggest you look in the description below, as there is a lengthy post there that goes into some things I either kind of summarised briefly or skipped over entirely, which I didn't find all that interesting. The most interesting part of that, to be honest, was the choice of rendering technique and resolution on Windows 10. Now, I can certainly see why that technique is needed on Xbox One to make better use of the hardware within the machine. Such a method isn't really needed on PC, where of course users have much more hardware at their disposal, at least in theory. Perhaps make it an option for people who might be running lower end PCs. You know, you can sort of toggle on or off temporal resolution to help improve performance and have the game still look nice for people on lower end cards or just lower end machines. That would be nice, but an option to turn it off for people with high end rigs, that would also be lovely, as it does sometimes result in a worse looking image. So, there you have it. Most of the issues that have been plaguing Quantum Break are either being worked on or fixed. However, there are some that don't seem to be going anywhere, and some that they haven't mentioned. So do let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below, and I'll see you next time.